Hello again, friends. Some of you may remember me from my last post promoting the book A Crude World, A Life of Drugs, Greed, and Power in the New York Mercantile Exchange. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours. I was actually banned by Facebook. It appears that the powers that be, with what is left of the smoldering ashes that were once the New York Mercantile Exchange, felt threatened by the content of the book. Even though I went out of my way to change names and to do the best that I possibly could to not incriminate anyone, I was banned. For 12 hours, I was in a state of forced silence. There was absolutely nothing that I could do about it. I had to rely on friends to keep me posted on what was being said about me, what was being done towards me. All of this over a book. Now, why would you think that is? I'll tell you exactly why that is. Because the truth hurts. Those who have the most to hide are those who scream the loudest. If there was no truth behind the words that I wrote, then there would be no cause for them to go to the administrators and the powers that be with Facebook and have them ban me from the page. But I'm back now. I will be starting a new page on Facebook, which will be called Author Russell Andreessen, and I will be accepting requests to join the page. It will be about the books that I am writing, but it will also delve a little deeper into the world of books and writing, pros and cons of the business. I'll be discussing my views on the world oil markets, as I am still very much involved behind the scenes. And it will basically be a format for people to discuss any topic really that interests them. But in the meantime, we're going to discuss my books. There's 3 of them right now that are out. Are You Kosher? Memoirs of a Jewish Vampire was released in 2010. It is a dark comedy based around the life of a 6,000-year-old Jewish vampire named Izzy Glassman. It is a direct slight at the festering boil that is political correctness. It is the opinions of a man who has been through it all and seen it all, and who better than an immortal vampire who is dealing with his own inadequacies because of the fact that he is a kosher Jew and yet a bloodsucker. By his own words, he is a paradox. I actually am working on a reformat of that book right now, which will include a minor rewrite of the first book, and it will combine it with the 2 sequels, Next Year Jerusalem and Give My Regards to the Rabbi. In early June, I released my second dark comedy called The Queen and I. That book is about a Broadway playwright who has fallen on hard times, and in an attempt to find his magic, as it were, leaves everything behind and purchases a cabin in upstate New York, the Finger Lakes region to be exact. He soon discovers that he is not alone, that he is sharing the house with the ghost of a 1920s vaudevillian drag queen who has decided that he wants to help write the next big thing to get our hero back on top. All the while, unbeknownst to him, he's being hunted by a psychotic madman at the behest of an eccentric billionaire who he slighted. And then, of course, there is a crude world. The life, the drugs, the sex, the thievery, anything you can imagine. It was a world that I loved. I still do. If I could turn back the clock, I would go back to the New York Mercantile Exchange in a heartbeat. But sadly, the New York Mercantile Exchange doesn't exist anymore. Not in the typical way. They canceled open outcry. Your life's whims are now in the hands of computers. Oil prices? There's no more due diligence. There's no more open outcry for the world to hear. It's easier than ever before to steal. It's easier than ever to manipulate. People think that because the computers are involved, that is, you don't know, some form of policing. You can't possibly be that naive. It was the human element that made the markets work for as long as they did. There's a reason why, for over 100 years, the markets worked the way they did. Because it was a good system. You constantly had someone watching. Of course there were ways to beat the system. I wrote about that in A Crude World. Everything there's a way to be broken. There's a way to get past it. There's a way to usurp it. It's ridiculous to think otherwise. But now you've taken out the human element. Where once you could be on the phone with a clerk and ask him, hey, how's the market? And he could quickly look into the ring, or he could ask the broker and give you a great quote, and you'd be in a good position to make yourself some nice money. Now, your fate lies at the whim of a heartless computer who doesn't know a thing about the market. All the computer understands is who was there first and what price they put in. There is no voice coming back at you saying, ooh, you might want to hold off on that a little bit because I'm looking across the ring and I'm seeing that there's a lot of orders coming in and they're just waiting for the market to get to a certain number. That's when I would get in. No, that's gone now. Now it's all up to you. Now you're left alone. And if you'll pardon my French, who the fuck are you? That's how the brokers felt. That's how the computer feels. The computer may not use that language. The computer may not go that far as to say it. But that's what the computer thinks. The computer doesn't care who you are. All it cares about is who was there first and who placed the order first. You will see how horrible it is going to be. We're going to discuss other events that apply to all of us. I'm going to keep a lot of this aspect of it to the YouTube pages, where we're going to discuss everything from politics to sports to commodities to stocks. You name it. Whatever tickles my fancy at the time, that's what we're going to do. I know you're saying to yourself, well, who the hell is this guy? Exactly, who the hell am I? I'll tell you who I am. I'm a guy who took his first job at 13 years old. I worked at a comic book baseball card store just at the time when comic books and baseball cards were becoming a business. I worked 60 hours a week for $50 off the books. And it was all the money in the world. And did you know why I took that job? Not because my parents said go out and get a job. I got the job so that I could spend my money on what I wanted without having to ask anybody else for it. As soon as I left high school, I took a temp job in the mailroom. I worked my way out of that mailroom. I survived the attacks of the terror at the towers in February of 1993. And I became a ring reporter on the New York Mercantile Exchange. My job basically was to stand in the middle of a pit of over 100 screaming men and be able to decipher the difference between a buy and a sell, what price was what month was what, and then clap my hands and do a cute little hand signal. That's what I did. Then I became a clerk, a screen clerk checking trades. easiest job in the world, easiest one to screw up, and hands down the most important job on the entire commodities exchange. I became a phone clerk, talking directly to customers, handling their accounts, giving them my opinions, helping them make money. I won the trading competition for Financial Trader magazine. I was on the cover of that magazine. I had the highest return ratio of any of the participants in all 5 brackets. I became floor manager for an options operation based out of San Francisco called Group 1 Trading. I was moved to the American Stock Exchange, where I was absolutely miserable. I needed to be back where I belonged, where the action was real, where trading was real, on the New York Mercantile Exchange. I went back. I survived 9/11 by the grace of God. I lost 39 friends and coworkers on that day. I've lost at least a dozen since. Everyone suffering from illnesses that people our age should not be suffering from. I myself suffer from PTSD. I've been declared disabled by the government. I have fiberglass in my lungs. It's hard for me to even breathe sometimes. But I have all of this knowledge that I'm willing to share. The one thing that I won't do is I won't tell names. I by no means am a rat. You can call me one if you want. But in your heart of hearts, you know I'm not. In my last video, the one that mainly was promoting the book A Crude World, A Life of Drug, Greed, and Power in the New York Mercantile Exchange, I've gotten a very positive response, and for that I am eternally grateful. But that is not the only book I've written. At my core, I am an artist. I write. I'm a professional chef now. Sadly, I can't work as a professional chef due to my 9/11 injuries. But that's another thing that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about food. We're going to share recipes. We're going to tell you the right and wrong way to do things. I'm going to give you my opinions on what I think of our beloved Food Network, and you're not going to want to miss that, trust me. But in the meantime, I want you to tell your friends about this page, about the name Russell Andreessen. The last name is spelled Andresen. I'm going to be posting regularly on YouTube. I'm also going to set up the page on Facebook. I can be followed on Twitter at RWA1974. My Facebook page is easy enough to find. Just look up the name Russell Andreessen, and you'll see the profile picture with this cover, the cover of A Crude World. That is my profile picture. And I think that we're going to have a lot of fun together. I really do. And what better time to start a page? We're in the middle of an election season. It isn't that fun. The Super Bowl is nothing compared to presidential politics. I'm personally just chomping at the bit to see Donald Trump in a debate. But for the time being, my friends, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to ask you to support the book A Crude World. It is available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Google, any internet outlet you can imagine. It's available in paperback, hardcover, Nook. I would also like you to support The Queen and I by Russell Andreessen, a dark comedy, and Are You Kosher? Memoirs of a Jewish Vampire. Tomorrow, when I post the next video, we're going to talk about books. The 3 that I've mentioned, and some of the other stuff that I've read lately, some authors who I have personally taken a liking to, and we'll start sharing opinions with each other and see if perhaps we can turn one another on to this author or that. As you can see by my appearance, I'm a very relaxed person. I like wearing a bandana. I like going around a little unshaven. I like to sit around with my broadsword and the Beast t-shirt. You Jethro Tull fans out there, and I hope there's a lot of them. But for the time being, I bid you adieu, and we will be speaking again. I thank you for your time and for all of your support. This has been a lot of fun. Good night.